for joining me for this full-length Pilates reformer class. We're going to be doing some Pilates with a little bit of cardio today, thanks to our jump board, which I already have on. I also have a box, a sticky mat, and a squishy ball to support my head and side line work. You can have a yoga block, you can roll up a towel if that's comfortable for you. That's all we're going to be using it for, is more of a pillow situation. I also only have on my feet straps today. So if you have on double loops, just go ahead and leave those. A couple things about jumping. I have sticky mats at the end of my machine. The flooring that I have in is very slippy, and no matter how much I articulate through my foot when I jump, my carriage travels. So I went ahead and I placed sticky mats under the feet of my carriage to assist with that, in case you want to do that on your own machine. When you jump, we need to make sure that we're articulating through that three aspects of our feet: toe, ball, heel. So when you jump off, your heel will peel off first, then the ball of your foot, and then your toes will pop off second. And then when you land, you'll go toes, ball of your foot, heel. You need to make sure that you're articulating through your foot so that when you're landing, you're not jarring your joints and slamming into the carriage. Also, you want to make sure that your carriage is not slamming into the bumper. Ooh, sorry, I have 4 springs on for footwork. I have 4 springs on for footwork. So if I push out, I don't resist, and I slam in, that's what it'll sound like. So you want to press out on the jump, and when you come back in and land, try to come as close to the bumper as you can without touching it. So if you have any knee problems or hip problems, please speak with your doctor first before jumping. And if you feel yourself no longer toe ball healing, do not jump. Now that being said, that doesn't mean that you can't take this class. The footwork that we do in the beginning of class is 100% a modification for the jumping aspect of class. I would recommend that you toss a few more springs on there for that part of the class if you are jumping, if you are not jumping, but everyone can do this class. It's no problem at all. A few more springs a few more things with your jump board. You can press down on the jump board for a few exercises. You can press into the jump board. Do not pull the jump board towards you on any exercises. For bridging, we will have our heels on top of the jump board. We'll be using our hamstrings to curl towards the jump board, but at no point are we going to pull the jump board towards us. We are going to be using our hamstrings to keep the carriage into the bumper, not to yank the jump board towards us. It's a very important distinction. Also, when we do mermaid, we're going to press onto the top of the jump board a little bit, but never pulling the jump board into us. We'll be using our lats to pull ourselves in. So more of a muscular pull, not a jump board pull in towards the carriage. To begin, I have 4 springs on for footwork. The footwork that we do will be the footwork that is done in jumping. In jumping on our backs, we will add a few more exercises in and do the series of 5 on our back jumping as well. But the jumping that we do here in footwork on our back, on our side, in a quadruped position, will be the same positions that we do in jumping. So if you need to change the exercises to do just footwork when we're jumping, it shouldn't be that big of an issue. Or if you do, please go ahead and reach out with any questions or concerns. So, guys, the 4 springs I have on my machine, I'm using 3 heavies, 1 medium. On my machine, that's 3 greens, 1 red. I do not work in half springs or on the button. My headrest is up. If you prefer a neck pillow, please go ahead and get one at this time. I'm going to come to line on my back. Another thing about the jump board that I forgot to mention is that at no point should your toes be hanging off the edge of the top or the sides of the jump board. Your whole foot should be on the jump board at all times. When I begin footwork with my jump board on, since it's available to me, I like to begin with my toes at the top of my jump board. It's easier to find my neutral spine and warm up my neutral spine and my abs. Soften through the sternum, nice wide collarbone, nice flat shoulder blades. To begin today, my legs are in a number 11 position where my heels are tracking directly under my sits bones and my knees are tracking directly over my big toe. That means that I'm not just flopped out here, right? I'm engaging my inner thighs to keep my legs here. I'm wrapping my glutes to keep my legs in place as well. If your heels can touch the jump board, please do so. We're going to talk about double jumping in a minute and why we don't do that. But from here, we're just going to press out and press our heels into the carriage. stand tall, stand long. Squeeze your glutes to open up the front of your hip flexors. Then resist the tension. Back in, bringing the carriage in and press out to your heels. And come back in. We're gonna do 3 more here for a total of 5, and then we're gonna add on. This is the first part of jumping. Make sure your knees aren't touching or separating when you come back in. Adding on, we're gonna press through the heels. From there, we're gonna press up to the ball of our foot, tap our heel, resist the carriage back into the bumper. Press out to the heels, up to the ball of the foot, and lower and in. Here's 3, ball of foot, heel, and lower. 4. Make sure nothing in the box of your body is moving when you're moving your legs. Now stay up at the top. Now tap your heels for 10 and lift. 9 and lift. 7, 6. Draw the belly button towards the spine. Wrap the ribs. Don't let anything in your body move. Now, drop the heel and bend the knee to come back in. Earlier, I was talking about double balancing. My body does not allow me to drive my heels to the jump board when I am in at the bumper, unless I lift my heels up way up high, which you can't do, right? Because your foot wouldn't be on the jump board. So when you jump and you press out, your heels will touch and then you'll lift, right? Now, when you come back in, you want to leave your heels down for as long as you can. If they lift, that's fine, but they shouldn't lift and hit and lift. That's a double heel bump. So go out and then in. And if they lift after they hit, after they make contact or articulate back in, that's fine, but don't let them double hit after the first initial contact and they peel off. We're going to take our heels and rotate our femur in the hip socket to bring our heels together and our knees apart, tracking over our big toes. I'm tweezing my sits bones, trying to narrow my pelvis, and my Pilates V is very, very narrow right now. I'm going to work from here. I'm going to press out to my heels, zip up through the inner thighs, really squeeze it up. Think of narrowing my pelvis, draw up on the pelvic floor. Wrap your ribs. Now resist the carriage back in. Squeeze your heels strongly and press it out. The reason that our Pilates V is so narrow is that you could make it wider, but a lot of times it's harder to keep your heels together as you lift your heels in the Pilates V position. Here's 5. Now we're going to add on after this, right? So resist the carriage back in, press it out, zip up through the center, rise up to the balls of your feet, tap your heels and come back in. And press out and lift and tap and lower. Try to make sure that you're keeping a nice flat sacrum the whole time here. It's a lot of glute work, a lot of inner thigh work on this Pilates V. Now we're going to do the heel lift, so lift up. Now tap for 10, 9, 8, 7. Guys, my heels are never separating this whole time. 1 more. Tap your heels and lower. From here, we're going to keep the Pilates V position and separate our feet to the outside edges of the jump board. Again, make sure that your feet are not hanging off the outside of the jump board. Go ahead and lower your feet slightly if you can maintain a neutral position here. Still maintain that your knees are tracking over your big toe. You're going to be more in line with the foot bar when you slide your feet up. So go ahead and press it out. Go ahead and take a look. Make sure everything looks good. And resist it back in. If you can, keep your heels down. If you cannot, try to keep them down for as long as possible. Here's 4. After 5, we'll add the heel lift. Press it out through the heel. Now rise up to the ball of your foot. Now tap your heel. Think of squeezing the inner thighs the whole time you're extended out with straight legs. So I'm squeezing my inner thigh here. As I lift, I'm still squeezing. And I lower, and then I resist it back in. Good. Jumping is a lot of control. Stay up at the top. We're going to tap for 10, 9, 8, 7. A little bit of jumping goes a long ways. Tap your heels down, resist the tension back in. Now, rotate to parallel and bring your legs completely together. All the inner aspects of our legs are squeezed together. Our thighs, our inner calves, the inner aspects of our feet. I'm gonna slide my feet down a little bit. I like this position better. If you find that you prefer it up higher, please go do that. Wherever you go, make sure that your back's not arching in this position. So from here, we're gonna press out into a high heel, or I'm sorry, with our heels down. And then we're going to resist the spring tension back in and press it out, heels down. And come back in. Ooh, I forgot that we were doing jump board for a second. All right, and here's 4. You really have to make sure that you're really pulling everything in with your feet lower, right? And here's 5. Come back in, and now we're gonna press out through the heel, rise up to the ball of the foot. Press in through the heel and resist the spring tension back in. And press and lift and lower and in. Find a nice breath. And now press out, stand, but we're gonna tap our heels for 10, 9, squeeze the glutes. Nice long neck. Leaving our heels up at the top, we're going to drop our left heel with a straight leg and bend our right knee. This is just a little one, right? Now squeeze your inner thighs and squeeze your glutes to lift. Now, drop your right heel, bend your left leg, and squeeze everything to lift. When we do this, we shouldn't be shifting in our hips. So we're gonna go ahead and take our pinky finger and put it on our hip bones, and take our thumb and put it on the bottom of our ribs. When you do this exercise, if you feel either side shortening, try to squeeze in through the glutes a little tighter and not move the hip. Just think of creasing and uncreasing at the hip flexor here. So really control. Let's do one more set on each side. Now drop the heels and resist the carriage back in. What we're gonna do now is an exercise called water wheel. It's a variation of water wheel. So we're gonna press out to straight legs and drop our heels down on 1. On 2, we're gonna rise up to the ball of the foot. Staying on the ball of our foot in a demi-pointed forced arch position on 3, we're gonna resist the spring tension back into the carriage and lower our heels on 4. Press out on 1, lift on 2. Resist the spring tension back in on 3, lower the heels on 4, and press out 1, lift 2. Resist 3, lower 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, lower the heels on 4. Now for 5, we're gonna reverse it. So we're gonna rise up to the balls of our feet on 1, press out on 2, lower our heels on 3, and resist the spring tension in on 4. Notice my heels are not double bouncing. When they peel off, that's because that's as far as my body will allow my heels to go towards the carriage. I bring my heels up on 1, I press out on 2, lower the heels on 3, resist it on 4. Up on 1, out on 2, lower on 3, resist it on 4. Here's 1, 2, abs up and in, draw the ribs together, don't allow the body to move. Go ahead and give your knees a hug in towards your chest. Give a little gentle rock from side to side. Scooch away from the shoulder blocks. We're going to bring our legs up to tabletop. They'll hover over the jump board. If you cannot bring your legs up without lifting them up a little higher, there are some options for you. You can do the exercises here. You can slide to the side of your reformer and do the exercises here. It is a more challenging option, or you can do them on the floor next to your reformer. So I'm going to bring my fingertips together over my sternum and 12th rib and float them straight up to the ceiling. From there, I'm going to do some curls. Inhale on 1, exhale and curl up on 2. Reaching for the jump board, really drawing my tips of my ribs to the tips of my hips, and lower, and exhale and lift. And inhale to lower. Our magic number today is going to be 6 for curl-ups, and I haven't quite decided what our magic number for series of 5 is yet, but it'll be fun.
All right, on this next, we're gonna stay up. We're gonna do the single leg stretch. I'm going to extend my right leg and draw my left knee into my chest. My left hand is reaching on the outside of my left ankle, and my right hand is reaching on the inside of my right knee. I'm gonna inhale through center, and exhale to the other side, extending my left leg. My left hand will be on the inside of my right knee. My right hand will be on the outside of my right ankle. Inhale through center and exhale, switch. Inhale and exhale, left leg draws in. Right leg draws in. I'm not hanging on, pulling myself up. My abs are doing all the work. My legs moving, it's just challenging my core. One more at each side, and then we're gonna stay up if we're able to. If not, go ahead and rest your head, neck, and shoulders. Draw your knees into your chest in a ball. Your hands will reach the outside of your ankles. Inhale, extend your legs to your working level. Extend your arms anywhere from up to the ceiling to your biceps by your ears. Exhale, bring your arms to a T, and then pull your legs back in. Hands reach for your ankles. Inhale, extend. Now turn your legs out to Pilates feet. On the exhale, bring your arms to a T. Bring your legs to parallel and pull it back in. Inhale, extend. Turn it out to Pilates feet. Exhale to T, parallel and pull. Pilates feet, T, parallel, and then pull. If you prefer, keep your legs in parallel the whole time. 2 more. 1 more. If you need to rest your head, neck, and shoulders, please do so. Otherwise, extend your legs up to the ceiling. Don't tuck your tail. It's time for scissors, so pull, pull, and switch. Pull, pull. Pull, pull. I started with my right leg there. I had to start with my left. Sorry if that was confusing for anyone. Please start with whichever leg you like. You can hold on anywhere from behind your thigh to your calf to your ankle. As the flexibility is there without lifting your tail to your foot or your toes. Don't allow your shoulders to come up to your ears. Squeeze under your arm and pull your shoulders away from your ears. Leave your legs up to the ceiling. Rest your head, neck, and shoulders. With your pointer finger and your thumb, or as my trainer Katie Rowley says, like you're holding a stinky sock, hold onto your shoulder blocks or your pegs. From there, we're gonna flex our feet and lower down for 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch. Point your feet. Exhale, drop your belly and lift. Flex your feet, lower 1, 2, 3. Point your feet, exhale, and lift. Flex, 1, 2, 3. Point, lift, flex, 1, 2, 3. Point, lift. Now we're gonna switch the feet. So we're gonna point first. Shoot energy out of your feet and lower down 1, 2, 3. Flex, shoot energy out of your heels as you exhale and float your legs up without tucking or momentum. Point and lower. 2, 3. And lift. When your arms are here in the pegs, make sure that your elbows are in your periphery so you're not arching your back. Hold on to the stinky socks. 1 more. 1, 2, 3. Hold it there. Bring your arms up over your sternum, 12th rep. Inhale, exhale to curl up. Your legs should be at a nice working level. Squeeze your inner thighs, squeeze your glutes, and begin pumping for the hundreds. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. Drop your legs an inch if you're able to. Squeeze under the arms and really reach your fingertips for the jump board. Squeeze your inner thighs, squeeze your glutes. Make sure you're not crunching your chin to your chest. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Drop your legs an inch if you're able to, but don't rest them on the jump board. Inhale. Let's do a nice long continuous inhale and a nice long continuous exhale. Inhale. into your chest, give them a hug. Rest your head, neck, and shoulders. We have one more series of 5 exercises to do, and then we're going to move on to some side lying legs and then some box work. So legs back up to tabletop. I'm going to inhale, exhale to curl up first. From there, I'm going to bring my head in my hands. I'm going to interlace my fingers and make my thumbs long down my neck. I'm going to exhale and rotate towards the left, extending my left leg. Instead of thinking of drawing your elbow up towards your knee, think of dropping your bottom elbow towards the mat. And really grounding that back hip down. Inhale through center and exhale to rotate. When we rotate, we're rotating from the belly button up. So the hips shouldn't shift. One more to each side. Inhale and exhale. And inhale and exhale. Good. Bring your knees to your chest. Rest your head, neck, and shoulders. Give your neck a nice little shake. Roll to the side. Come up to standing. Find your head support. Place between your shoulder blocks. We're going to change our springs now, guys, to one medium and one light. On my machine, that is one red and one blue. I'm going to come over and lie down with my left hand closest to the shoulder blocks. From there, I'm going to come onto my side. I'm going to scooch back so that my back is in line with the back of the carriage. I'm going to take my bottom hand, I'm going to hold onto my peg or my shoulder block, and my top hand is going to rest on my shoulder block to help support my body position. Just like sideline legs, you want to make sure that you have a slight lift between your hip and your ribs, closest to the mat. From there, my legs are on top of each other. Let's talk about safety real fast before we do anything else. My bottom leg's going to remain bent, but when I bend it, I'm going to have my foot flex the entire time. That way, if my foot slips on the jump board and I come back into the carriage, the bottom of my foot will hit the jump board and my toe will not bend in a funny position and perhaps become hurt very badly or break. So from there, I'm going to float my top leg or my right leg up so it's in line with my hip. I'm going to bring that foot so my toes are at the edge of my jump board. In this position, I am able to flap my foot all the way in the carriage in case someone else is too. Now, when you're doing this, make sure you're not crunching your chin into your chest. You want a nice long neck. We're going to press out and resist it back in. When you press out, make sure that you're not leading with your hip. You're squeezing your glutes to get here. So think of uncreasing at the hip flexor and then creasing to resist it to come back in. So you don't want your hip to drop to press. All right, good, this is 5. After this, we're gonna go ahead and, actually we're gonna go to 10 on this side. And then we're going to do 10 of the heel lifts. And then we're going to turn out to Pilates feet. And then that's gonna be it on this side. When we jump, we'll add on a little something, something. But for right here, this is gonna be it. All right, now we're gonna add on. So we're gonna press out through our heel, rise up to the ball of our foot, tap our heel and come back in. Press out, rise, lower, resist. Here's 3. Make sure you're lifting up and make sure you're really working your glute here. 5. Here's 6. 7. 8. 9. Lots of glute work here, right guys? And here's 10, stay up. And now tap your heel for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower your heel, resist the carriage in. Now, try to lift your toes in the ball of your feet. Rotate the femur in the hip socket. Make sure that your knee's tracking over your big toe and you haven't rocked back into your low back. So you're really rotating the femur in the hip socket to keep the leg out. Now press out through the heel. The reason that we rotate this way is so that we get a nice rotation in the hip socket, a nice squeeze on the glute. And we're still getting a really nice workout, but we're maintaining this body position where our hips are stacked and our shoulders are stacked. We're in a neutral spine, just on our side. One more, and then we're gonna do a heel lift. All right, come in and press and lift the ball of the foot. Another thing that we're doing here, guys, while we're doing this exercise, is that we're learning how close the carriage we can come in without slamming it into the bumper like we were talking about earlier. A lot of times when we're jumping, and I am for sure guilty of this, I shorten my jump to make it a little easier when I start to get tired. And we are absolutely 100% gonna start to feel this in our glutes, right? Lift about your side closest to the mat, draw your abs up and in, nice, long, comfortable neck. Press it out, strengthen the leg. On this next one, we're gonna stay out, we're gonna tap our heel 10 times. And 10, 9, 8, 7, squeeze your glutes, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower the heel, bend the knee to come in. Remove the ball real fast, come onto your back. The top leg that was just working, go ahead and bring above the ankle, across your leg in a figure 4 stretch, below the knee though. So we don't want any joint on joint action. We want the shin bone crossing the femur bone or the thigh bone. So you can take a hand and gently press it into that knee to try to open up. Try to stay equally weighted across both backs of your hips. This is side laying legs is a hard one on the outsides of the hips and glutes, right? All right. Now from there, we'll just go ahead and roll to the other side. Place our head support back down. Come lying onto our side. Whoop, adjust as we need to. I'm going to slide back so that my back's in line with the back of the carriage. I'm going to have a nice long neck. My bottom foot is bent. My foot is flexed to avoid any unnecessary injuries. My bottom hand is holding onto my shoulder peg or my shoulder block. My top hand is resting on top of my shoulder block. From there, I'm going to separate my feet so that my top leg's lined up with my hip and slide my foot forward so my entire foot is on the jump board, but my toes are at the edge. From there, I'm going to press it out and resist it in. Guys, go ahead and make sure that your hip's not moving. I have a nice little lift in my side closest to the mat. Here's 4. I always find that the turnout position on this is much harder for me than the parallel. Maybe I just need to squeeze more, right? And here's 10. After this, we're going to add the little heel lift to demi pointer forward starch and press out and lift and tap and come back in. And press out, lift, lower, and in. Here's 3. Lift, lower, and in. Here's 4. Lift, lower, and in. When we do jumping with a single leg, the weight, the spring tension will be lower. So if you're planning on not jumping and still doing this work, you can pick between the red and the blue or the lower spring tension that will be offered. A lot of times in lower spring tension work, it seems like it should be easier. It's just more of a challenge on the core a lot of times. Draw those abs up and in, draw your ribs together, stack your shoulders and your hips. On this next one, stay out at the top, lift your heel and tap for 10, 9, squeeze the glutes, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the heel, resist the spring tension back in. Now, don't rock back, but lift your toes and rotate the femur and the hip socket to turn the foot out. Make sure that your knee's still tracking over the big toe and press it out and come back in. Your knee should flop towards the front at any time. It should always be pointed up to the upper corner of the jump board or in that general area. You should never bring your knee parallel. Really rotate that femur. I feel it a lot right here. 2 more, and then we're going to add on. Make sure your bottom foot's still flexed. Uncrease at the hip flexor, now crease. Now we're gonna press it out and lift and lower and come in and press out and lift and lower and in. And here's 3. Lift, lower, and in. And here's 4. And lift and lower and in. And here's 5. Lift, lower, and in. 6. Still rotate. Make sure your knee's not pointed forward. Woo, here's where it starts to burn. 8. 9. And 10. Stay up and tap the heel for 10. And 9. And 8. And 7. And 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Tap the heel, resist it back in. Guys, good job. We're going to go ahead and come onto our back. So we're going to just go ahead and place the ball somewhere to the side that's easy for you to find. We're going to take that top leg. Woo, that burns on that side, huh? We're going to go ahead and bring it into the figure 4 stretch. Guys, again, I'm bringing my top leg that's bending in the figure 4 above the ankle bone, across my bottom leg, above the knee. So I'm not joint on joint. I'm bringing my shin bone across my femur. I can place my hand gently on the inside of my thigh. I'm not pressing on my knee. Try to keep the carriage into the bumper. I wanted to float it out because it felt a little less intense. So from here, we have some box work to do, and then we're going to be doing some quadruped footwork in preparation for jumping. Quadruped jumping is very difficult, so if you find that you're not into it at all, please feel free to just do the footwork again when we're jumping. Good. From there, I'm going to press up to the side. I'm going to change my spring tension over to 1 blue. We are going to be getting up again because we're going to be doing some upright pulling from here, and we're going to be changing the spring tension over to 1 blue. From here, I'm going to place my box on in the long box position. I am going to be using a sticky mat today because when the upright pulling comes, there is a tendency to slip on your box. So it is great just to go ahead and start with a sticky pad. My box is right in the middle. I'm going to begin by placing one hand in the furthest corner away from the box, one hand on the closest corner of the box, and I'm going to come on to my stomach. My knees are bent. I'm going to adjust myself on the box so that the edge of the box is where my sternum and 12th rib meet. From there, I'm going to squeeze my heels together. I don't want my knees any wider than my box. I want to narrow my knees if I can. And then from there, I want to extend my feet away from me a little bit to challenge my core. Odds are I cannot extend my feet away from me as much as I would like to because my jump board's a little higher than my box personally. But the more I challenge my feet by squeezing them together and extending them away from me, the more the load on my body and the more glutes I have to use to make my thigh bones a little lighter so that I'm not tenting in my hips. I want to draw my belly button up towards my spine, draw my ribs together. I'd like to find a neutral spine position, looking down at the floor while I am on my box. My wrists are underneath my shoulders and my elbows are pointed back towards the jump board. I'm squeezing under my arms. From there, I'm going to straighten my arms and press myself up into a swan position. And exhale to lower. I'm going to inhale to lift, lengthening through my neck, drawing my belly button up and in and wrapping my ribs. I have the inner aspects of my elbows pointing towards my uprights. When I look down, I am in the perfect position for back extension on pulling straps 1 and 2. I should be looking no higher than the inside of my reformer. On my reformer, I have a little brass plate that I can look at, but it's just right on the inside of my reformer. I'm going to lower. And I'm going to inhale to lift. Belly button up and in, squeezing my glutes so I'm not tenting my hips, squeezing my inner thighs, tweezing my seat to narrow my pelvis. And from there, I've done enough of those. I'm going to put my hands inside my feet strapped like a bracelet, choke up on my straps. From there, I'm going to place, I'm not pulling my straps yet, but I'm going to place my hands on top of my frame. I'm going to release a little bit so I can slide my hands right to the outside edges of my reformer. If I so choose to, I can do pulling straps 1 and 2 with no chest lift in a neutral spine. If I choose to though, I'll reach down, 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 shooting energy out of my fingers, floating my chest up to that tiny little chest lift, tweezing the bottom tips of my shoulder blades, and come back down. When I lift my hands all the way to the back, it feels as if I'm doing chest expansion. You shouldn't be looking at the wall straight in front of you, crunching the back of your cervical spine. And here's 3. Really reach your fingertips down as you pull back, as if you're trying to reach water, imaginary water that's around your reformer. Good. Keep breathing. Or exhale all the way back. And inhale back down. On this next one, we're going to stay back and we're going to do tiny little short lever tricep presses. So we're going to bend the elbows and extend. Don't bounce your carriage. Stay in control. Belly button up and in. Squeeze the glutes. Squeeze inner thighs. Wrap the ribs. One more. And lower it back down. Without releasing your legs, go ahead and take your hands out of the straps and slide down till you can hold on to the middle part. Or, as I like to do, I like to put my thumbs in the rings and hook them ever so gently and bring my hands down. To begin the exercise, we are going to leave our palms down to the mat and really squeeze our lats. Our arms are not going to move as close to our body as we would like, but when we switch and we do the tiny pulses, we will flip our palms to face our hips. So, palms to the ground, arms to a T, and bring your arms back, palms to the ground. Tiny chest lift if you so choose. Float it back out, and pull, and lower. Slow and with control. Extend your feet away from you just a little bit. Squeeze your glutes, squeeze your inner thighs. Squeeze your underarms as you reach. And here's 7. On 8, we're going to stay there. And now flip your palms in towards your hips and open and close. 2. Squeeze. My trainer, Katie Riley, once told me, imagine you have an orange under your arm and you're squeezing it for orange juice, which is gross, but really makes you want to squeeze it. 7, 8, flip your palms down and open. Rest for a moment. Reach your arms long on the frame of the reformer. Rest your neck down. Shake your head out from side to side. Go ahead and peg your straps. Hands on the upper corners of your boxes. And go ahead and come up, standing. Fix your mat. And go ahead and change to a light spring. So 1 light spring is all we have on, guys. It's all you're going to need for upright pulling, most likely. We are going to be here for a second. We are going to come back down onto our box. Start my 12 over at the front. Now, it's going to get a little weird here. We're going to reach around, and we're going to stand into the jump board. I'm on a demi-point position. From there, I'm going to reach my arms long, and I'm going to walk myself along the frame to the uprights. From here, let's go ahead and shrug our shoulders. So we're going to allow the uprights to pull us, and then we're going to pull them back in. If you feel as if you are not stable here with your arm, on the uprights, and feel like you might lose control and go slanting back into the jump board, go ahead and flex your feet. Ooh, this feels nicer, doesn't it? All right, go ahead and keep that nice little squeeze on your lats. We're going to squeeze our glutes, squeeze our inner thighs, so our legs are light. We should be tented, right? And we're going to go ahead and we're going to pull with our elbows going down towards the well, driving our head through the uprights and come back. Do not release your shoulders. And pull. My belly button is pulling up towards my spine. My ribs are wrapped. Here's 4. 5. Great. I'm glad I have my sticky mat now. 6. 7. On 8, we're going to stay up there. We're going to take our right arm, place it at our low back. We're in front of the box, and go back halfway with our left arm and pull 8. Go back halfway and pull 7. Halfway and pull 6. 5. Squeeze your glutes, squeeze your inner thighs. 1 more. Stay up there. Replace your right arm. Take your left arm to the small of your back or in the front of your box and squeeze it like a genie arm. Go back halfway and pull 8. 7. 6. Tiny pulses. 5. 4. Try not to move anything on the front of your body. Don't let any weight shift. All right. Replace your left hand. Now swim your legs. Now we're going to release back for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If your legs are too long, flex your feet here. And then we're going to pull in for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release back for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I have a sneeze, I'm sorry. 4, 3, wait, it's gone. It's been teasing me this whole class. 4, 3, 2, 1. Belly button up. Squeeze your glutes. And back. 2, 3, 4, 5, and in. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 more. And in. 2, 3, 4, 5. Go ahead and slowly release back. Don't release the uprights. Flex your feet. Grab firmly to the frame, and then let yourself slide back slowly with control, with flexed feet until your heels touch. Bend your knees to come in. Carefully get off to the side, holding onto the box or the frame the whole time until you're up, and then go ahead and release. Whew, my pants got twisted all around on that one. We're going to go ahead and come to a short box position for the quadruped jumping. I'm going to go ahead and add a red spring here. So I have 1 red and 1 blue spring on. We're going to go ahead and come onto our knees and elbows. So I am 5'6". I do not like to be here because I like for my thighs to be at the box so that I have some nice tactile feedback and I'm not rocking and hurting my hip flexors or low back as I'm jumping. I like to have my hands right here on the shoulder blocks in a plank position. When I am here, it limits how high I can lift my leg because my body is lifted higher. You can also take your hands to the headrest and press your elbows back towards the box if you'd like. Either way, you have to make sure that you're in a decent quadruped position where your hips are located over your knees and you're trying to bring your wrists underneath your elbows as much, or underneath your shoulders as much as possible. When you're here at the headrest position, it is more difficult for this. It is more of a position for people who have more experience and are able to hold their plank a little better. Do not sway out in your plank. Make sure that you're tucking your tail slightly, wrapping your ribs and drawing your belly button up and in. If you have a mirror nearby, you can see if you're not doing it properly, which I will very frequently. Like I said, I like to be here on my shoulder blocks. I like it because I can place the meaty part of my hand on the shoulder block and I'm breaking my wrist less, and so I feel less pressure in my wrist. When I am jumping, my leg that is on the carriage, my foot will always be flexed in case I jam into the carriage or I miss the bumper a little bit, because even at the bumper, my heels are touching my jump board. So I want to protect my toes. A broken toe or a sprained toe is nothing to laugh at. It's very painful. So I'm just gonna lift my foot up a little bit, and I'm gonna press out. From there, I'm gonna locate a nice neutral spine position, a nice quadruped position. Squeeze under my arms, lengthen my neck, and then I'm going to come in and I'm gonna press out through my heel for 10, 9, 8. Again, just like on sideline legs, we're gonna do 10 here, then we're gonna do 10 heel lifts, and then 10 taps. Sorry, it's allergy season here in Georgia. All right, now we're gonna do a heel lift. And lift, and tap, and in. Try not to splay your hip on this one. When we turn our foot out, our hip will splay slightly. Here's 5. Make sure you're still drawing everything up and in. Make sure your knee is pointing to the ground on these. One more, and we're gonna stay up there at the top. And now we're gonna lift and tap 10, 9. Squeeze your glutes. Make sure you're tucking your tail slightly. If you have a nearby, go ahead and check it. Lower the heel and come back in. Now, my toe is off, my heel is not, but I'm gonna still try to rotate through the heel a little bit so that I'm not bringing my heel across my body. I wanna take my foot out to the side for a turnout position, right? I'm gonna press through the heel and come back in. Again, my hip will be splayed ever so gently to accommodate the turnout of my foot. If I look down, my knee should be tracking over my big toe, and I still have my bottom foot flexed. Here's 6. Keep your thigh pressing into the box to help your body alignment. And it'll also help to activate that glute for whatever reason. And it feels really, really awesome. And we're gonna lift and lower and in. And here's 2. Try to press in equally through all 5 toes. Draw your abs up and in, tuck the tail slightly. Woo! It always hurts worse on the turnout, right? 5, 4. Again, if this is not a position where you're comfortable jumping, you can continue to do these exercises during the jumping portion. Now lift, now tap for a 10, 9, 8. Squeeze under the arms, lengthen through the neck. Tuck the tail, abs up and in. Lower the heel and resist it back in. Woo! All right, pound it out real fast on the opposite side. All right, we're going to bring the other foot up slightly, press it out, and then adjust just a little bit so you can make sure that you're nice and square. Tuck the tail and come in and press for 1, 2. Try to release through the shoulders and come down. If at any point you want to bring your hands down to headrest and try that position there, it's less on the shoulders. Good. All right, now we're gonna lift the heel. Make sure your abs are up and in, and lift and lower and in. And 2. And 3. Whew, it's getting warm. It's gonna get even warmer during jumping. Here's 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Stay up at the top and tap for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, come in. Even if your heel's lifted off, try to find a nice rotation from the heel to turn it out. Now, when you press out the first time, make sure that your knee's tracking over your big toe as you work. 3. This side's always my hardest side for jumping. Maybe because it's the second side. Who knows, right? We're just pressing out through the heel at this point. We don't have any lifts. 9, 10, draw your abs up and in. Don't poo bear out like I just did. And lift and lower and in. And press and lift and lower and in. Here's 3. 4, good job guys. Make sure you're not rocking unnecessarily over that left knee or the knee on the carriage. Here's 9. And press it out for 10 and lift and now tap for 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come back in carefully. Pound it out on that opposite leg. So, we're going to remove the box. We're not bringing it back until we do our quadruped jumping. Don't forget to toe ball heel when we jump. We are going to begin jumping with our feet separated under the sits bone and parallel. We're going to switch it to a Pilates feet by rotating the femur in the hip socket, not turning our feet out any wider, and then we're going to jump to a wide second. We are hopefully going to do all 3 of those without stopping, 20 jumps for each foot position. From there, we're going to come squeeze it into the center and do 20 jumps there. From there, we're going to do the double leg stretch, which is just a tiny little pull, guys. So when you jump out, you're just going to do a tiny little hop with your knees, not even like, you'll be out, and then you'll do a tiny jump, not even tabletop, and back out. From there, you'll do a tiny little press up, lift both legs up to the top of the jump board and lower and in. And from there, we will go ahead and do skier. I'm going to lift my headrest up. And skier, you're going to jump out through center. You're going to rotate your toes up to the left and your heels down to the bottom right. You're going to reach over your knees and do a tiny little oblique crunch. When you jump out, you're going to come through center. Your arms will rainbow. Your toes will go to the opposite direction. Your heels will go to the opposite direction. And your arms will reach over the top. Tiny oblique. And up through center and twist. And up through center and twist. When you do this, your hip will float off. The opposite hip will float off the tiniest amount, guys. It will barely float off at all. We'll go ahead and talk through this as we go. Again, don't let your foot fall off the jump board as you jump. We're going to begin with our legs separated underneath the sits bones. 1 red, 1 blue, 1 medium, 1 light. Inhale, exhale to jump. Make sure that you're not arching in your low back. Press out all the way. And straighten. Good. Keep it going. Feels a little light right now, right? Well, just like arm work. That will all change. 13, 14, 15, 16. Keep your body completely still. 19, 20. Turn to Pilates feet and keep going. 10, or 20, 19, 18. Squeeze up through the center. Don't let it slam in at the bumper. Articulate, toe ball heel. Squeeze, squeeze. I lost count, so we're gonna do 5 more. 4, 5, and open wide second, and keep jumping. 2, 3, 4, 5. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze the inner thighs. Belly button to spine. Maintain that same space from rib to hip. Good. Here's 16, 17, 18, 19. I was lying. Let's keep going. Bring it into center, squeezing everything together for 20, 19. We're going to stop after this, and then we'll go over those series of 5 exercises again, and then we'll go into those. 2. I think we're going to 10 now. 3. I lost count again, I'm not going to lie. We're just jumping, guys. Here's 7. Make sure your feet are on the whole time. And come all the way in. Give your knees a hug. no idea how many I counted. Sorry about that. 6 out of 5 Pilates teachers are great counters. It's a joke I heard somewhere. I like it. You probably don't right now. So when we jump out on this time, we're gonna do a slight little tuck, just like here, right? Just like a hook. If this is tabletop, this is extension. This is gonna be hook right in the middle. And then extend and lower. So we're gonna jump and hook and lower. When we hook, don't arch in your back. That's why it's a tiny little tuck. The full tuck, people arch and then tuck. We just want a tiny tuck to make sure we're keeping a completely neutral spine. The next one's gonna be a slight lift, and then we're going to do the skier. After 10, on skier, the option is there to lift up your head, neck, and shoulders and increase the oblique crunch. So, let's go ahead and begin. We'll do 2 regular jumps and then we'll begin tucking. Inhale, exhale, jump, jump, and now double leg. And tiny hook. 3, 4, and straighten. Tuck and straighten. Tuck and straighten. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, woo! 18, 19, 20, legs up to working level and lower. And lift and lower. Here's where it starts to burn for me. Make sure you straighten your legs all the way. We'll take a break after this one before we go into skier. It always gets to be less and less that you can do, right? And all the way in. Ooh! After this next set, we will go ahead and lower our spring tension, and we're gonna do some single leg on our back, which is my favorite type of jumping, guys. So, I'm going to bring my toes to the upper left corner first, my heels to the lower right corner, and my arms will reach over my right leg. When I switch, my toes will be at the right, heels will be the lower left, and I'll reach over the top of my left leg. I do not care which way you start, nor will I be able to jump and cue it at the same time. Just so we know, right? My fingers are over my sternum 12th rib. We're gonna do 5 on each side, which is a total of 10. And then the option is there for curl up for 5 on each side for a total of 10 to finish. And we're gonna jump out and we'll land. Inhale and exhale to land the opposite direction. And switch, and switch. Oh, sorry. I started my head and shoulders up. You do not have to do that. If you did that with me, the option is there for you to push your head and shoulders down now. Curl deeper. Rotate. Reach. 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 Squeeze under the arms. Squeeze your inner thighs. Jump through center and land. Come out to sit up tall. Take a deep breath. Go ahead and drop that light spring. All we have on is one medium spring, that is one red. Like I said, you don't need that much jumping to really feel jumping, right? I think my heart rate should be higher, but my heart rate monitor does not say it is. I'm going to come onto my back. We're going to be doing single leg jumping. The single leg jumping that we'll be doing for the series of 5 is a single leg stretch, and then the scissors. So we're going to be drawing our knee into tabletop as we jump, switching each time. And then without stopping, we're just going to extend our leg up to the ceiling, kicking as we jump each time. I like to begin with my right knee up. That way I can begin and just switch into jumping immediately. So we have lowered our spring tension, so be careful. Try not to get real wild with your jumping to begin. So really square off the hips. We don't want our hips shifting during this. We're going to press out on one and switch. And switch. This is also called prancing.
Good. This is my favorite. 5. Here's 6. We're only going to 10 because this is a single leg exercise. And we're switching on each side. When we do the sideline legs and the quadruped, it'll be a little different. I think I lost count again. So this is our last one. Or sorry, this is our last one. And when we do this next one early, we'll go straight up and scissor. And switch in the air. Reciprocal scissors. 2. Since the spring tension is lighter, you have a little bit more time to make the switch safely. Remember to toe ball heel so that you're not moving all around with your carriage. Here's 8. Here's 9. And here's 10. Now we're going to jump through center one more time. And land. Good. Scooch away from the shoulder blocks. Drop your headrest. Place your heels on top of the jump board, but think of pressing down, not away to move the carriage up, and don't pull the jump board towards you. If you are uncomfortable doing this, you can lie down to the side of your reformer and put your feet up on your reformer frame instead. So, platform your arms down by your side. We're going to begin with the articulation bridge. You are not going to go up as high as you would normally. It will send you straight up onto your neck or your cervical spine, and we do not want that. We just want some nice hamstring, inner thigh glute activation. Inhale, exhale, and press your spine. Tuck your tail and squeeze. Articulate back down. We're just looking for a little back work here, right? Some nice little back work. Some counter back work to the swan. Let's do one more, and then we'll do hinge bridging. Tuck your tail, articulate up. Now articulate back down. Now, inhale, exhale, squeeze and lift. And lower. I really feel it hollowing out from hip to hip, and I really feel my rib to hip connection when my feet are up a little higher. I also really feel that hamstring connection, right? And lower. All right. Go ahead and roll onto your side and come up to sitting. We're going to lift our headrest back up. We're going to place our head support back in there. Guys, when we do jumping on this side, since we are not switching our feet like we did on the single leg, it is going to be more intense for the legs. So we're going to do 10 regular jumps and then in parallel, and then we're going to jump out and kick our foot gently, just a little bit to the right outside of the jump board and pull it back under for 10. So kick and pull, kick and pull. We're going to turn it out to Pilates feet and do 10 jumps here. And then we're going to kick it out to the top corner of the jump board and pull it back for 10. From there, we're going to do it with the mermaid on this side, and then we're going to switch to the other side where we're going to do the same 10-10 in parallel, and then 10-10 and turn out, and then mermaid again. You're going to feel it very strongly because we're not changing legs here. So I'm going to come lying on my side. I'm going to line up my back with the edge of the carriage again. I'm going to have a nice continuous line from the tip top of my head out through my tail. I'm flexing my bottom foot strongly, especially because even though the spring tension is much lighter, we don't want the carriage slamming in when we're jumping. I'm going to lift my foot up to hip height. I'm going to bring it to the front of the carriage. From there, I'm going to begin jumping toe ball heel. I have a slight lift in the bottom and my side closest to the mat. My bottom hand is holding my shoulder block or my peg. My top hand is resting on top of the shoulder block, so I'll go sliding around and begin. Inhale and exhale to land. It's really nice at first, right? 5, 6, flex that bottom foot. Don't allow the foot to go up or down. You're maintaining it right here for this one. Now on this next one, we're going to kick out a little bit and pull it back. So crease at the hip flexor and then extend. Nothing in your body should be moving to make this happen. It's just little. And your foot should land in the same spot it began. 9, 10. Now come back in
Now rotate the femur in the hip socket from the heel so that your knee's still tracking over your big toe and you're not rocking back to your low back. And now begin jumping from here. We do it this way to protect the integrity of our foot and to protect our bottom leg. Make sure that we're not causing any harm to our bodies. Keep your foot where it is in the air. Good. After this next one, we're gonna kick up and lower, and lift and lower. When you do this, if you feel your side crunching into the mat, know that you are not doing this by creasing and uncreasing at the hip flexor. You are using, you're shifting your body to make it happen. That's a no-no. Really try to work the glutes and the hips to make this happen. And all the way in. From there, if you'd like to, you can go ahead and move your ball. Just go ahead and place it on the other side if you'd like. For mermaid. I'm going to be doing classical mermaid where my legs are stacked against the shoulder blocks. Or you can do crisscross applesauce. Or you can sit... Oh, no, I'm sorry, it's like this. Or you can sit with both legs forward. I feel like that was not right, but no, it was. Okay, sorry about that. So I'm going to place my hand directly by my side. Now I'm going to bring it in front of my body. I'm going to put more weight in my pinky blade edge and drop my elbow down towards the springs to pull my shoulder away from my ears and engage under my arms. From there, I'm going to straighten my arm as I lift my opposite one that was closest to the uprights and reach over the foot bar. Really getting a nice bend and a lift here. I'm not sinking down, I'm lifting. Now I'm going to bend my elbow to come in, find the shoulder blade or the shoulder block, and pull myself to the opposite side toward the uprights. Bringing my arms back to a T, I'm going to place my arm back down and extend my arm and reach up and over. I can look under my arm towards the ceiling if I so choose to. Bending my elbow down to keep my shoulder away from my ear, I'm going to come back up and reach up and over. Drop that shoulder down, down, down by squeezing under the arm. One more. And reach up and over again. You can look up at the ceiling if you'd like. Drop that shoulder though. No shoulders towards your ears, so not earrings. And reach up and reach over, over, over. From there, I'm just going to turn to the other side. Locate my head support. Place it back in the headrest. Again, we're going to be doing parallel. 10 jumps in parallel. 10 jumps with a little tiny kick forward to the outside of the jump board. We're going to come all the way in, adjust our stance to a Pilates feet. 10 turned out jumps, and then 10 tiny jumps, bringing the foot up towards the top corner. Tiny jumps, guys, right? Or tiny lifts. My bottom foot is flexed. I'm lining my back up with the back of the carriage. My bottom hand is holding the shoulder peg or the shoulder block. My neck is nice and long. My top hand is on the shoulder block, guys. My foot is at the front of the carriage. Again, my bottom foot is flexed if I haven't said it already. My top leg is lined up with my hip, and I'm going to begin jumping. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Make sure you're not sinking into the mat. Now, kick your foot forward just a couple inches and pull it back under. 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't shift your hips front and back. We're maintaining a hip over hip, a shoulder over shoulder position. Here's 9 and 10 and come in. Now, rotate the femur in the hip socket. Make sure that your knee is tracking over your big toe, that you didn't sink back into your back hip, and begin jumping. 10, 9. Woo. Keep breathing. Nice long neck. Try to release all the tension from your shoulders. higher and lower. Really squeeze the femur in the hip socket, really rotate it. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, one more, and come in. Good. We are all done with the head support, guys. So go ahead and put it wherever you like. We're gonna do mermaid to the other side. Again, I'm going to sit in classical sit. Please feel free to pick any of the other positions, including crisscross applesauce or both legs forward. My hands going directly to my side. I'm bringing it forward, putting more weight on my pinky blade edge, dropping my elbow down towards the springs to drop my shoulder. From there, I'm going to straighten my elbow to press away and reach my arm up and over. On this first one, I'm looking straight forward. I'm going to bend my elbow down, squeezing under my arm to come back up to stay up tall. Find my peg or my shoulder block and side bend in the opposite direction towards the uprights. I'm going to come back up, place my hand down, and reach up and over. Really rounding over. Don't sink down. Lift up. Now I can look up under my arm towards the ceiling if I'd like. Bend my elbow down. Sit up tall. Side bend towards the uprights. Let's do one more mermaid. And side bend. And come back up. And go towards the uprights. Good. From there, I'm going to come off my carriage. I'm going to place my short box back on. If my arms are up on the box, I'm going to place my sticky mat back up there. If not, it's your choice. Again, if you are uncomfortable jumping in this position because it is cramped and you are scared you're going to hurt yourself, please feel free to just do the footwork. We're just going to do 20 jumps in parallel, 20 jumps in Pilates feet, switch to the other side, 20 jumps, 20 jumps. We're going to add a spring. We're going to press out into a forward fold stretch, pressing in through our heels. So we're really getting the stretch down the back of our legs here. I'm going to come with my hands on the shoulder blocks, but again, we can begin our hands on our elbows on the carriage, or we can place our hands down here and really press back. You have to be careful doing this because it's really easy to pop down into your ribs. So you have to lift up, 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 up. Sorry, just keep looking at the mirror. It's a really bad habit to check my position, right? So I'm flexing my bottom foot. I'm squeezing under my arms. I'm drawing up and in. I have a slight tuck in my low back. I'm going to press out to find that proper foot position. I'm going to come back in. From there, I'm going to press out and jump for 20, 19. Here, let's count down from 10 because it's easier for me. 7, 6, toe ball heel. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're counting it back up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Woo! My jumps are getting smaller. I can tell I'm getting tired. Good. Come back in. Now, find the heel position and rotate the femur in the hip socket so that you're not rotating from the ball of the foot across the body. You want to make sure that you're rotating from the heel position. Now, press it out. Make sure your heel's in line with your sits bones. Come back in. Make sure your knees tracking over your big toe. Begin jumping. That hip will be splayed slightly, but you want to make sure that you're still tucking that tailbone. 25% of the way there. Keep breathing. Halfway there. Flex that bottom foot. Only 25% more to go. It's only 5 jumps, guys. 3, 4, 5. Carefully come back in. We're halfway there, guys. We only have one more side to go. Sit back for 1 second. Roll out your wrists, do whatever you need to do. Get yourself ready. Press it out. Go ahead and do whatever you need to do to make sure that your body is where it needs to be and that you're tucking your tail slightly, not swaying out like a Pooh Bear, right? And begin jumping. Squeeze under the arms. Extend the neck nice and long. Make sure you're looking down. So there's a nice straight line from the tip top of your head out through your tailbone. Keep going. Here's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come all the way back and carefully flex that bottom foot. From here, we're going to rotate the femur in the hip socket. Don't bring that heel across your body and splay out really funny. It's just a slight little splay. Press it out. Come in, make sure your knee's tracking over your big toe in a way that's going to be all right and safe for your knee, and begin jumping with a slight splay in your hip. Tuck that tail slightly, squeeze your glutes. That's 25%. 2, 3. The last little bit of jumping is the hardest, guys. You're doing great. Don't forget to breathe. Almost there, guys. Here's 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Really nice. We're going to come off to the side carefully, real fast. I'm going to throw the blue spring back on there. So I have one medium and one light spring on. That's one red, one blue. I'm going to bring my leg across the machine if I'm able to. If not, go ahead and do a forward fold over straight legs next to the carriage. I'm going to press out with my hands, bring one foot up, bring the other foot up. From there, I'm going to make sure that I have a nice equal weight between both hip bones on my back and press the carriage out. I'd like to see my legs straight in front of me as if I'm sitting on the floor. I'm pressing the weight through the heel, so I'm really feeling a stretch down my back. If I'd like more, I'm going to place my fingertips like blades on the front corners of my carriage, like I would for stomach massage 1. From there, I'm going to round over the barrel, looking into my knees. As I exhale, I want to feel as if I'm really hollowing out from hip to hip in my stomach. So, dropping my shoulders down my back, nice wide flat collarbones. Can I peel off the box a little bit more? But still finding that nice rounding feeling in the front of my body. The nice space between each vertebra along my back. Let's do one more. Now, I'm going to place my hands up as I bend my knees. I'm going to carefully place one foot on each side as I use my arms to carefully come into the bumper so that I do not hurt myself. I'm going to come up to standing. When I have both feet on one side of the former, I'm going to release from the machine. I'm going to get rid of my box. Okay, I am going to put my headphones back up if it is down, because we are going to be doing that not attractive, but feels great side stretch. We're going to be doing scooter from here. Why? Because we haven't gotten enough glute work, right? This is more upper body work or more box to the body work, which we also haven't gotten enough of today. So I'm going to take, I'm standing, if I'm facing my foot bar, I am standing on the left side of my machine. I'm going to take my right foot, tuck my toes, place my heel against the shoulder block. To begin, I'm going to place my right knee on the carriage. I'm going to line up my left knee with my right knee,
My left calf is squeezing into the reformer for stability, and I'm going to place my left hand on the left corner, my right hand near the center, but on the left side. So on the inside center, in the inside and the left inside of the center. So I'm going to drop my shoulders down my back. I'm going to press away. I have my tail tucked here slightly, just like we were talking on the quadruped work. I'm sitting down into that leg, and then I'm going to press back my glutes. I don't want to splay my hip to do this. See if you can straighten your leg a little bit more every time. Oh, my leg doesn't want to straighten today. Here's 9 and 10. Good. Now, since we've been doing everything in parallel and then in turn out, we're going to do it here too. So I'm going to rotate the femur in the hip socket and turn out my leg. My knee is tracking over my big toe. I'm going to sink into this left leg even more, and then I'm going to press for 10 and 9. Sit back more and bend your knee more. Good. Here's 3. Again, just like on the quadruped exercises, my hip will be splayed slightly. Good. Come all the way back in. We're going to change our spring tension to 1 medium or 1 red. So I'm going to take off that light spring. Both my feet are going to be turned out. I'm going to be facing the front of my machine at the end of, near the end of my carriage. I'm going to place my hands on the carriage. I'm going to lift up my right foot, or the foot closest to the shoulder blocks, and place it so that the ball of my foot is in the little crevice between the headrest and the carriage. From there, I'm in a round back position. I'm going to press out to a flat back position in a middle split. If this is not a position that you can find, please do cat-cow. Now tuck my tail and resist the carriage to come back in. And press it out to a flat back position in a side split. Stretching out those inner thighs right now, guys. Let's do one more. Good. And go ahead and come back in. If you felt this stretch strongly in your knee, you have gone too far. Do not go that far for fear of injury in your knee. We're going to go to the other side. I'm going to move these props real fast. Again, I'm going to stand near the end of my carriage. I'm going to have my feet in Pilates V. I'm going to place my hands down on the end of my carriage. I'm going to lift my left foot up. I'm going to place the ball of my foot in the crevice between the headrest and the carriage. From there, from a round back position, I'm going to press out into a flat back. Now I'm going to tuck my tail and resist the carriage back in. And I'm going to press it back out into a flat back position. This will not be the only stretch that we do today. And pull it back in. And we have one more. We have to do scooter on this side too, guys, and then we are going to go into feet and straps. And some light stretches with our feet and double straps. So I'm going to go ahead and place that light spring back on. So that's a blue spring for me. So now I have a 1 medium, 1 light on my machine. That is 1 red, 1 blue. I'm going to come to the left side of my machine, or I'm sorry, the right side. Bring my left leg up, tuck my toes, press my heel into the shoulder block. I'm going to press the inside of my right calf into the machine for stability. I'm going to bend both my knees so they're lined up. Sit back, and I'm going to straighten and bend my leg. Keep that little tuck in your tail. 3. Draw the ribs together. Drop the shoulders. Press into the jump board. Don't pull it towards you. keep the femur in the hip socket. Make sure your knees tracking over your big toe. Sit back into that right leg and press and resist. 9. Tuck your tail slightly. Sit back more. Here's 4. Here's 3. Here's 2. Ooh, 1 more. And 1. Come on into the couch. And then come down on to your back. Notice how when I came down on my back, I didn't place my feet on top of the jumpboard and pull it towards me to get where I wanted to go. We're going to go ahead and leave our calf rest down. I'm going to press out. I'm going to place one foot in the foot strap, extend it so I tension, and then I can bend my other leg and place the other leg in the foot strap. From there, I'm going to bend my legs into a frog, keeping my sacrum and tailbone flat. Nice neutral spine, and extend. Tweeze my seat right up towards the midline, and resist it back in. And extend, and resist. Go ahead and flip your palms up towards the ceiling if you'd like. Don't arch your back to get here though. You can hold onto your pegs a little bit if you'd like to open up through the shoulders. But I'm not really holding the pegs. I'm just sort of finding an openness in my pecs at this point. Here's 4. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. 3. 2. And here's 1. Try to press the whole foot to get here, right? Now we're going to open to the side and squeeze it together. I have my feet pointed the whole time for this. Try to touch your feet in the center at the same time. Here's 3. Don't let them double bounce. This is good practice for leg circles. Okay, on this next one, pause, flex your feet. Flex to open, flex to close. And flex to open, flex to close. I find I have less of a balance with a flexed foot than I do with a pointed foot. Which is interesting, yes? Good. From here, we're going to bring our legs to parallel and flex to lift, and flex to lower working level. 1, 2, 3, 4, squeeze the glutes to lower and lift your leg, glutes and hamstrings. Now, lift and point and see if you can retain that same squeeze in your glutes and hamstrings with a pointed foot to lower and lift. Good. Make sure you're not tucking your tailbone at any time. Lift it up to the ceiling, turn it out. We have 10 circles in each direction. Open and down and squeeze, no bounce, and lift. Open and down and squeeze. Your circles can be as wide as you would like, as long as you're no bouncing and you don't lose your neutral spine. Find some nice breath work through here. Squeeze them at your working level and pull them up together through the center before you separate. Good. And lift. Final one in this direction, and then we'll reverse. Squeeze your legs together through the center to working level and separate for the double circle. Don't bounce it at the top and lower. And separate. Oh, it bounced. I used too much momentum. Use more muscle and less momentum to squeeze and lose the bounce. Good. Really shoot energy out of your toes. Imagine you're grounding through the backs of your hips, but reaching with your toes. Here's 9,
more, guys. And here's 10. From here, draw your legs into the frog. We're going to do short spine. If you're not comfortable doing short spine or you've never done it before, please find your favorite stretch to do right now. Otherwise, we're going to press our legs out to working level on 1. We're going to pike at the hips, stand into the straps, and press up on 2. Bend your knees in. I'm in a high frog with my knees coming over the shoulder block, and then I'm going to articulate my body down, 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 down. I like to leave my feet where they are in space so that I get a hamstring stretch, and then I bend for some extra hamstring work and a hamstring curl. I press out on 1, pike on 2, and lift. And 3. And articulate down. So I stretch out my hamstrings, and then I hamstring curl. We're going to do 5. I'll show you one more with the hamstring stretch, and then we'll go ahead and just pull our feet down with us as we articulate down. And we're going to pike and articulate up and bend, and then we're going to articulate down, 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 and extend. Final one, whichever way you like the most. And down, down, down. Legs together up towards the ceiling. Find your straps. Go ahead and give it a pull. Go ahead and bend one knee and straighten it. And bend the other knee and straighten. And bend the opposite and straighten. And bend the opposite and straighten. One more to each side. Now open your legs wide to the side. Rock gently from side to side. Bend your legs into a happy baby position here. With your feet up towards the ceiling, knees down. Bring the bottoms of your feet together in a butterfly position. You can pull your heels in towards your sit bones if you'd like. We're going to hold it here for a little bit longer, so we're going to go the opposite way through all the stretches again and be done with class. Can you make your sacrum heavy on the mat so you're not tucking your tailbone? From here, we're going to open to the happy baby again. Can you find a deeper stretch here? Tailbone down. We're going to open to a wide straddle stretch. Tailbone down again. And feet up to the ceiling together. And I like to hook my fingers to my rings and give a little pull down. Now, bend your legs in. Take one foot off. Find the jump board. Straighten that leg. Take the other strap out. Resist the tension back in. Come up to sitting up tall. We're going to take a nice deep breath in. And exhale. Guys, thank you so much for joining me for class today. If you have any questions or would like any modifications, please feel free to reach out. Thank you.